Meredith, a big welcome to the Angel Academy Holistics YouTube channel. First of all, how are you doing, my lovely?
I'm doing great today. Thank you for asking me, Chris.
Oh, so good. Well, I'm doing even better because I'm now speaking to the Kimberly Meredith. So let's start at the beginning with you, lovely, if that's all right. I'd love to find out about your story and, of course, your journey as well. So your own spiritual journey, Kimberly, how have you become the healing marvel that you are today?
Well, I had some near-death experiences. I also was born with gifts when I was little. I didn't really know that I had a lot of these gifts until after I had my two near-death experiences in 2013. But when I was little, I was having experiences with the paranormal. So all throughout my life, I was experiencing, I had my gifts are through my eye blinking. Right now, I'm a medium. So I was experiencing paranormal abilities when I was really little. So it started when I was young. I had communication with spirit and a very interesting relationship with my paternal grandmother. And I guess I started noticing these things when I was like a baby. Yeah, really little, like I was as young as 6 months old. I loved healing animals, and I would do healing with my grandmother. My grandmother had asthma really bad, and she would say that I would sit there and rub her chest and her neck. And I didn't know she had asthma, but I was just doing that with her. And I just did all these really unusual things when I was young, and I had just different paranormal experiences. And then as I got older, I'd say around 7 and 8 years old, my mom didn't like it. So she sort of was taking me to different doctors and things and trying to figure out why my eyes had this rapid blinking going on. And uh, so she forced me to stop blinking, and I did. But if you're meant to be who you're meant to be, it's not going to stop the mission. So as I went on in my life, I kept pushing it away, sort of like who you are and you're meant to have it happen. It just can't be pushed away. So I went into nursing. I became a nurse assistant. And I kept having these really interesting, like paranormal situations happen to me at hospitals. So I'd be in a hospital doing my work with the patient, and I would say, I'd hear a voice go, pray on her. So she'd be in a coma, and it was really wild. I'd be like, rub my hands together. I didn't know anything like Reiki or anything like that. Nobody talked about that. And I would put my hand on a lady and I would say a prayer. I would say like a Hail Mary or something. And the woman's eyes would wake up, open up. And I remember a doctor going, "What did you do?" So all these really weird experiences would go on. And it's just like, as I look back now, everything kind of makes sense. All these like little things that were happening in my life. And I had just a really strong relationship with the Holy Spirit and with um, the paranormal, where I wasn't afraid of the other side and spirits. And because I had such a tumultuous childhood, with my mom especially, and things that were going on, I always looked to spirit, to the angels, to the guides for comfort. And that was sort of in a um, quick summary of how I built a relationship with the other side and was getting messages at a very young age.
Wow, it's beautiful to hear. And I love, you've got the relationship as well with, your grandma and everything like that. And it's encouraged through that. But obviously you've gone through a situation where, you stopped being you, doing what you do. But, like you said there, Kimberly, what you're meant to be will be, no matter what. And for you, it really has been. And you touched on there as well, about your, two near-death experiences, not just one, too, you know, and you're here. We're so thankful, you know, that you're here and, you know, bringing this book and, you know, passing this message on to so many people. But if you don't mind, darling, would it be okay if we talked about those experiences a little bit?
Yes. So thank you, Chris. So then, so then leading up to all of that, in the book, I talk about it more in detail. Of course, I had 2 near-death experiences in 2013 that really pushed me to be really who I am today. Yeah. So most of my life leading up to that, I wasn't who I am now, which is a full-blown trance medium. I am. So there's a lot of different people know there's psychics, there's mediums, but I'm what you call a trance medium. So I am a psychic, but I'm more of a trance medium. So people often like, what's a trance medium? So so basically, after the NDEs, I didn't know it was an NDE. I didn't know that's what that was happening to me, but I had a very bad accident, 2 accidents actually, that I wound up at the hospital. I went to the other side, and in that experience, inside the experience, I left my body. And when I left my body, I experienced an amazing relationship with, I call it the omnipresent God, Holy Spirit, what you would say, just an amazing elevation of leaving and going, crossing over, and hearing that I'm to stay here, not to stay on the other side. And it was very sensationally miraculous at the same time. I can't even really explain, like, it's so an amazing experience, because it was just like, okay, you know, when I remember explaining it when I came out of it, my fiance at the time was like, well, we all experience God. And I'm like, no, I experience this to God. He's like, no, we all experience God. I'm like, no, I experience God. He's like, no. And I would keep saying no, because it was like so intense, the energy on my chest pushing down on me, at the same time being above myself, hearing you're to stay here and demanding me to stay here at the same time. I didn't know what to do. So it was kind of like a very strange experience, if I'm explaining it right. So it was just kind of a dual reality. And then after that happening to me and experiencing that, and also experiencing very fast flashes of my life, and seeing visions and angelic visions of angels, and like the angelic realm telling me to stay. The thing is that after coming back was the hardest part, because it wasn't me anymore.
Mm.
And when I tell that to people, and I'm getting chills right now, when I say it wasn't me, it's much more than saying it wasn't me. It really wasn't anything like me ever again. Because what happened was that once I came back, like at that moment, it was a hum like that. And I felt that, I remember when I came in back to the body, it was like hum like that. And I remember going and looking over at my fiance, and I remember going, like, just like, oh, like that. And then the spirit came through my body, and my legs were just shaking and trembling. And I remember thinking, oh, wow. Like, my consciousness was feeling lifted, but almost like I wanted to stay on the other side.
Mm.
But I was directed to stay here. And I was never going to be the same again. Then the real reality of what was going to happen, I wasn't sure about. So I was scared. So I was feeling really amazing there. And then when I came here, I was like, oh no. Then it all started, then having to learn to walk and talk and be who I am now. Like, I don't pronounce things the same. I'm not the same person. And then the rehabilitation and all this stuff started to happen. Then when I started to come home. So I was in the hospital for over 3.5 months. And then when I came home from the hospital, my fiance was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, you know, so, things started to really change rapidly for me. I'm what you call, like a trans channel medium that never took a class, nothing. It just came from me coming back to who I was meant to be. My eyes started to blink. So in the book, I don't know if you read that part, the reappearance of my blinking eyes. So then uh, I started to have my gifts started coming back to me is when I was little again, the blinking eyes.
Like a reset, isn't it? It's like, your near-death experiences, it kind of, brought you back to who you really are, I suppose. And especially, maybe reawakened your gifts again, would you say?
I do. I feel like I had, when they started blinking again, after I was trying to recover from the accident and I didn't want to use the medications the doctors were giving me, and I was praying a lot at home. Then when the eyes started blinking, I was like, wow, I remember I blinked when I was little. So I was like, oh,
Wow,
yeah. I
that's
was like,
amazing.
I was like, I was very shocked. Yeah. And then I thought, is this a sign? I didn't. The thing that was really interesting, Chris, is like, I wasn't into the spiritual world, like, not like, I mean, I believed in the spirits and the guides, but I wasn't following anybody. I wasn't doing any mediumship things or anything like that. I was really into my nursing. I was doing entertainment, on-set medical advising. It wasn't like I was going to Reiki classes or healing classes or anything like that. It was just all of a sudden my eyes started blinking again, like when I was little, and this and that. And then I had a girlfriend that was practicing Reiki, which I didn't know. She was a nurse. And she was coming over and rubbing her hands and putting them on my head to try to relieve. I had a severe concussion and hematoma.
Wow, Danny, I mean, what a story. I mean, not even, we're not onto your book yet, but already,
Yeah.
what an inspiration, just for people maybe that have been through that, going through that and trying to make sense of that. What an absolute inspiration that is, Kimberly. And thank you. I mean, I really appreciate you sharing that with us as well, because I know, that will be a lot for you as well. So I really appreciate that, lovely. Well, on to the big news as well. Your brand new book that's dropping in September, Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, a guide to discovering the soul's path to healing. I mean, you've got to be proud of this book, Kimberly. Of course, your baby, have you got it there?
I do. I have a copy of the US cover. But
Wow.
yeah, it's Awakening to Fifth Dimension, Discovering Your Soul's Path to Healing. I really, I'm really honored that you're having me on right now to talk about it, because the book is really for people to discover their own healing potential. It's a guidebook, and it has, a little bit about my near death experience, a little bit about me, but a lot about for you, a lot about what inspires me. As I'm an environmentalist too, and I'm here to help people eat the right kind of food. I have recipes, and I have a chapter about water, how water can save your life. And I have information about how to raise your consciousness in a dimensional frequency. So I really work in dimensions. And this is also another thing about me that I never was into until after the near death experience. So I am channeling. I don't know if you know a lot about the Albert Einstein. So I'm really into Einstein. And I was not into Albert Einstein. So yeah, so I love dimensions. I love us living more in the fifth dimension. And
So excited. It is
moving
so
out of the
excited.
yeah, moving out of 3D world, yeah, which is disease and worry and fear and locked in a box about we all have to be this way. We can be universal and loving and kind and accept all of us for who we are and move into the fifth dimension state of frequency, which the fifth dimension is we all love each other and accept each other and live in this higher miraculous dimension of healing, a new way of healing.
Which is beautiful. And, you know, people do and have spoke about the fifth dimension. And, you know, I think people just being in that vibration of love, you know, we all know when you're nice to people, you know, that vibration is strong. It makes us feel warm. It makes us feel good. But living in that all the time, being kind to animals, you know, everything, and giving the earth that it respects is all about the fifth dimension. So for anyone watching this and they're kind of thinking, well, you know, maybe I have been controlled, I don't want to do the same job anymore, or, you know, kind of be in that box, how do people elevate themselves to the fifth dimension?
Yeah, I think like the most important thing to get yourself into the fifth dimension is looking at the world in, you know, a way that you can receive the energy of God, the Holy Spirit, as not in a religion, as in a way that you can receive the energy from a place of love. And by raising your consciousness by every day doing at least 5 minutes a day of meditation, um, self care is so important, not judging others. And it has to be also everything in your life, with your food, your home that you live in. So in the book, I talk about not only your supplements and your food, your water, but spiritually boosting your lifestyle and who you are communicating with daily and how you communicate with people daily. So it's a whole supplement agreement plan in your life. So everything is together, and not take things personally either. When somebody, I teach people how, if someone lashes out at you or somebody affects you in a negative way, how to react to them also that way. So some people are still living in a third dimension, and you're maybe in a fifth dimension, so you're bouncing back and forth, but how to communicate with people that are still in a lower dimensional frequency. Because right now we are living in a third dimension, unfortunately, but we are shifting to the fifth dimension and beyond. And but it's okay, we can live in a world where we're bouncing right now. And
Definitely
there are,
can. We
yeah,
definitely can. And, you know, and that's the thing, you know, that's a reality, Kimberly, isn't it? Because some of us are living in that, you know, five-dimensional. And then, you know, you could be in the same household of someone living in the three-dimensional. And it is all about balance, isn't it? And I think, you know, for people that are struggling maybe to kind of, you know, move up, or it's, you know, people that are interested in the 5D is kind of like showcasing and showing the goodness, you know, of what can be by being kind to people, you know, like you were saying there, not flying off the handle to people, you know, treating love people with lots of love, lots of respect, you know, and easing that transitional period, isn't it?
yes, you're so correct. And learning that you can call in your angels, you can call in the ascending masters for help, you can call in Jesus or whoever you feel close to, your archangel, Michael, or like, whoever you feel close to at those times where you feel challenged.
Mm.
And like you said, somebody could say, well, I married my partner and now my consciousness is getting higher. I feel more fifth dimension and beyond, and he's still, or she's still stuck, or she's still in the lower dimension. I don't want to be this way with them anymore. I say, no, it's okay. You don't need to say goodbye. You can help and teach them to raise their consciousness in this elevation that we're going into right now. And there's ways to help them raise their state of consciousness too with you right now and take them on the path.
Yeah, important, that important for many couples all around the world. It really is. Don't be splitting up or anything like that. We don't want that at all. We can all help each other.
Yes.
So, you know, what kind of, you know, so you know, say like angels, and you've also got, you know, your spirit guides, everything like that. You know, what beings are associated with the fifth dimension?
Oh my gosh. I think all the holy, highest, loving, um, ascending masters that you can think of are there for us to help us with the ascension process right now. Are here for us right now. Yeah, they're here. They're waiting for us, and I think a lot that have crossed over. that even your own, so say your family members have crossed over, your own relatives, that people have had, um, because of the work that I do. I've had a lot of clients have relatives that are working for them too on the other side and helping them. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. Rooting for us as well. Come on, we can do it. We can definitely do it.
Actually, yes, there's so many people that are helping us right now from the other side, which is really amazing with our
Oh, that's
consciousness.
beautiful. So beautiful, Kimberly. It really, really is. So, if there's anyone watching this, if they're suffering with maybe an illness right now and struggling to find answers and kind of, maybe at the end of the road, can awakening to the fifth dimension help support them?
Absolutely. In my book, I have exercises. There's a lot of fifth dimensional exercises. I have lots of prayers. I could even say a prayer for us today if you want. I have a chant exercise healing prayer. And there's one of my favorite um, beautiful ascended masters is Mother Mary. And I really find her to be somebody of much comfort for me. And the divine feminine is really here for us right now. And I feel that she's here to calm us and soothe us and help. The left side of our body is the divine feminine. And a lot of people are challenged right now with thyroid on the left side, heart issues. And I find that the masculine and the feminine is in a imbalance a lot of times. So I feel like it's really cool to embrace the feminine energy. So that's something, I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I really do. No, I mean, it's one thing for myself. I know I'm a guy, I'm a boy, but I've always preferred the feminine energy. I've always found it more gentle, more fair, more balanced, more loving. And, even with people like growing up, like all my friends when I was younger, all female, I've always respected women more than men because I've always seen with a lot of men the greed that, it's all about us. And, there's not that balance there. And I'm glad to see around the world, that shift happening where, I've always thought, every woman, and then there might be a man in front of them, but it's the woman that's doing all the work and making them look good. But now, with that feminine energy there, women all around the world, spiritually, wherever they are getting that recognition they so deserve because they make the world, us, everyone, such a better place. And it's a more pure energy as well. So yeah, I'm all for it, big time.
Yes, yes, I love that. Yeah, and I find a lot of men too are really loving to use their feminine energy
Mm,
and, and not have to feel like they have to be always pushing that dominant or having to feel aggressive or having
yeah.
to speak. And a lot of women that run corporations or men feel like I want to feel more the creative side. I want to feel more relaxed. I want to have more of the feminine energy. And I don't want to have to feel the struggle or the push or have to be more aggressive when I speak. I
Mm.
want to have to feel more loving and kind. And when I have to get my point across, I don't want to have to feel I have to feel more, you know, you know, have to have this image of dominant and forceful ego and have a more relaxed, kind, gentle way to get my point across. And if the world was coming for more of a graceful divine consciousness, which is the fifth dimension and beyond, and I feel we are going to move into that state of consciousness and treat people with love, kind, respect of the divine Christ consciousness, then we will have peace on earth.
It definitely will. We definitely will. And, little golden nuggets, like your book, Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, if anyone knows anyone that's struggling and they kind of think, nope, they need a bit of support, they need a bit of guidance, just buy them a copy of your book. Simple as that, isn't it?
Thank you, Chris.
It really, really is. It really is. And of course, for yourself, your book, you talk a lot about your healing as well. People know you all around the world from conferences and everything that you've done about your healing abilities and of course through your eyes. But I want to know, Kimberly, if I was to book a private session with you or see you at a show, what is a healing session with you like?
Thank you. Yeah, I am a healer. That is something I am. Yeah. So what I do is I go through your body with my hands and eyes and I scan you on a Skype session. I just, I just go through you and I find everything, like I'll know if you've got organs missing or, I just read you. I read your I do a mediumship reading on you and I'll find, I'll just call out whether you've got like a torn knee or I just do a full blown body read on you. And so medical reading, mediumship reading. And then I also will find out if I do also crossover readings. So I'll know if someone's crossed over or someone's trying to speak to you from the other side. But I basically try to stay more focused on the medical mediumship aspect of things. And then also this is a Skype reading. And then also I can do a healing on you in the reading. And I focus the healing through the waves of my highest good and consciousness through the Holy Spirit, the love of God. And it's quite remarkable that God can go through anything, a wall, electronics, the energy of the Holy Spirit rocks. So very, very successful healings are very successful. And then I give you, after the session, I go through what I feel might be beneficial to you through nutrition supplements and things. And I will send over after like a 18-page document for you after the session. And then my office appointments, because I have an office in Encino, people do fly in around the world or wherever you are, and people come to my office. I still do office appointments 2 days a week. And in my office, I do the same thing. I'll scan over your body. People can record it and I'll go through everything in the body again. And I do psychic surgery. It's the same thing over Skype. And I remove things off the body. And I've been doing that for now, I think almost over 5 years. And then when I do public, I'm doing an event at the LA Conscious Expo and the New Living Expo coming up. I do teachings there and the same thing.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. But it's great for people to know if people are just discovering you for the first time as well, knowing that they can do in person if they want to fly all around the world to come and see you. But of course, they can just get you on Zoom. And it's just beautiful that you do that. And I absolutely love about you, Kimberly, is that you bring, the medical and the mediumship together. You infuse it into one thing, which is so beautiful. People can come to you for any reasons, but it's so beautiful that you bring the spiritual side to the medical side as well.
Yes. And that was something that they chose. They wanted me to be a medical intuitive. I didn't even know what that was, but I started doing it in my house, in my living room. Once I got well, out of the wheelchair, I started figuring out that that's what they were doing with the blinking. And I started doing that on many people from Gold's Gym. They started coming in my house and I was finding out what meant what through my eye blinking. And then I heard them say they want me to do the healing. And then when I started doing the healing on people, that's when things started dissolving off of people's bodies.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's really cool.
It is really, really cool. I mean, even just to, spend a little bit of time with you, find out about your journey. Of course, your new book, Awaken to the Fifth Dimension, that is out in September. But, what you do is just so, so important because you're helping people, and that's one of the best things, one of the biggest things you can possibly do. And it must feel good for you to do as well, darling.
It does. I love it. I live for it. I wouldn't change my life for anything right now because I love when I hear someone email me or leave a message on my answering machine saying, my lump is still gone. I am healed. I am 100%. My labs came back. I don't have cancer. I don't have my thyroid condition anymore. I love when I do events with people like my friend medium Thomas John. I love when Thomas say she doesn't have anything going with her anymore. Or you said this lady had, an intestinal tract infection that she went to the doctor. She does. I'm not happy she does, but I'm happy we caught it quick. Or I scan somebody and I find something on, this lump here, and I got it before, I'm very good at pre-finding. And if we can rock these things out faster, and what I feel is we're moving into this higher awakening and ascension, more people are awakening, more people intuition is happening faster and faster for people. And I feel by people reading the book, it's going to help people understand that they too can awaken to their gifts, and they've pushed them back. They can say yes to them.
Yes, they sure can. Well, Kimberly Meredith, an absolute pleasure to get to know you, to get to speak with you, find out about your new book. I mean, you're an absolute marvel. You really, really are. So from me in Manchester, in the UK, all the way to lovely LA, thank you so much, darling, for your time.
Thank you for having me on, Chris Meredith. I love your name.
And I love your name too, Kimberly Meredith. Thank you so much. Mwah.